Beverly at commandingyourlife.com. Also, feel free to make comments on this site. They are always appreciated. So welcome and thank you for spending time listening to this program. So now let's start our discussion. Well, I want to say good morning to you and good morning to everyone who is listening. I want to say this is a beautiful day here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I hope that it is better for you wherever you are, that the sun is shining somewhere. Even if it's cloudy where you are, the sun is shining, and it is a glorious day. Every day is a glorious day, depending on how you decide or how you set your intention for the day. So what we're going to do this morning, and I want you to make sure that you're in a position where you can close your eyes just for a minute and relax. If you're operating machinery or you're driving, then do this at another time. Just listen with your eyes open. It will do the same thing for you, but at a different level. So just close your eyes. And what I want you to do is think about a time when you were peaceful and you were calm. And I want you to take a deep breath and just relax. Relax. Relax in the knowledge that you can create your day. You can create your day to be a wonderful, magnificent, productive, enlightening day. And it's going to be that way. I want you to take another deep breath in and out. And it is my intention for today to give you some really powerful and good information that you can use in your life every day, every time, every minute, that will allow you to become the powerful person that you are destined to be. Take another deep breath. And just relax and listen. And so it is. So today I'm going to discuss with you power manifesting in God's image. And in the promotion for this, I quoted Genesis 1:26, and it talked about, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. And I've talked about this before, but let's just talk about the idea of what does it mean in our image. We know that God, universal consciousness, higher intelligence, is all around us in everything that we see, and that God is within us. And so we are so often looking at God as something or someone off on some throne somewhere, far away from us. And so then when we are talking or we're looking and doing prayer, it's always out there. But scriptures tell us to go within, to look within you. The kingdom of God is within you because God is part of you. So this universal mind, this spirit, that is the beginning, the origin of everything, has given you a power, has given you the power of thought, has given you the power of reasoning, has given you the power of creation. Everything you see around you, and as I look around me, I see many things. I see glassware, I see a china hutch, I see books, I see a table. None of those things would be created unless somebody thought of it, unless someone took the time to say, oh, Sometimes I think about, well, who was the first person to design a drinking vessel, right? And what was it? Was it a scooped out coconut? Was it, you know, how did man decide that they can take this dirt, clay, and add some water to it, maybe a little bit of straw or whatever, and bake it in an oven and create bricks to build a home? Where did the idea come from to take an animal and use it to transport goods or the person? It was an idea that came into the mind, and that fostered more ideas. And a lot of times we talk about how to create a product, and it's solve a problem, solve someone's problem. So ideas begin to flow, this creative juice. You look at artwork, great pieces of art, bad pieces of art, doesn't matter, right? It was someone's idea of what they wanted to create. We buy things every day of someone else's thought process and creation. The clothes you wear, they were created by someone else, and you saw it. You said, oh, I like that. I think that will look good on me. So therefore, let me have that. Let me purchase that. Let that be part of me. Power of manifesting has been given to us because we've been given the thought process. We've been given this ideas, or being able to have ideas and creation. Who realized how to bake a cake? Come on. I mean, you think about it, somebody's idea there. There are some things we take so for granted. Somebody had to think about it. Somebody had to do experiments, and it came to be. I think about the great inventions that of the modern era. I'm not even going to say 20th and 21st century, because 19th century, 18th century. I mean, I took a drive to the West Coast with my daughter, did a road trip the past couple of weeks. That's why I wasn't here last week. And we saw the deserts in Arizona, and drove through the desert in California on our way to San Francisco. And people live in those areas. They have found ways to survive in those areas and have a productive life. We had the opportunity to go stop by Las Vegas for a little while. But the idea is, I looked at the lights, I looked at all the different buildings, I looked at all those things, and it was in somebody's head, and it was created there. We were driving up 287 in Texas, and up north of Dallas is cotton country. And we're looking at cotton, and we see they're still harvesting. And I go, the cotton gin, an invention that made it easier to pick cotton and have cotton, right? It was an invention. The big machinery used on farms. Somebody had to think it up. So when we look at let us make mankind in our image, remember, Genesis tells us the story of, and God said, and God spoke. And he had this idea, right? And, how do we know what making planets and stars and all of those kinds of things? And how can that be? And where did it come from? And the idea of an earth or many earths. See, I'm not one to think that we're the only earth or we're the only ones in the universe. The universe is so vast. But the idea being is that, okay, I have this idea and I made all there's grass and flowers and cotton, animals, dinosaurs, yeah, lizards, I don't care what it is. All those were created from an idea, from a thought, from a desire to bring that into being. And a desire to make mankind in our image. In order to rule over the fish and the birds in the sky and livestock and take control of the earth and do things, we had to be able to think and to create. We're the only creature on this earth that actually creates, right? And how can we create if we don't have the power of thought? The key is this: the things that you need to create show up in your life when you have that desire, that burning desire. And that's for whatever it is. There was a lady who had and I've seen this happen many times, who had burning desire for a certain young man. And she did everything in her power. And she thought about him day and night. She asked for his presence. She did everything. And eventually he became hers, right? In a sense, right? He and she got together and she was so happy. She was so very happy. But in the meantime, there was this young man who really cared about her. But he stayed in the background and he just did things for her. And he was kind to her. And if she needed anything, he was always there. Right? So she got the guy. And when she got the guy that she had her eyes so set on, right? Power of manifesting, right? She realized he wasn't the right guy for her. She realized that she had projected upon him this wonderful idea of who he was. And that relationship didn't last. And finally, the young man that had been sitting off to the side, understanding her every need, knowing her so very well, she began to notice him. And more she realized that this is the person that she should be with, right? And they eventually married and got together. But I've heard so many times of putting our eyes on something that really isn't good for us. Now, people talk about the fact that I'm going to change the subject a little bit and talk about the fact that there's so much going on in the world that's not good. How can man do that? If we're in God's image, how can we do that? Well, I talk about the subconscious being non-judgmental. There is no good, there is no bad. And in this world, there are experiences. There are people who are spreading their wings, or there are people who have been influenced by the collective consciousness of the area that they're in. Let's think about the Super Bowl yesterday, right? Who was it? Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots? No, I didn't watch the game. But the idea being is you've got a world of people who are jubilant this morning. They are so happy because their team won. And then you have the other group who are so sad, but they're still proud of their team because at least they made it to the Super Bowl, right? But the collective consciousness is over on this side. They're woo woo. We got to win over here. We got to win, and there everybody's mind was on the game as well as the commercials yesterday. Heard a lot about those too. The collective consciousness that we have to get sick and die. Why? You're made in God's image. And the idea that you can be healthy, healthy, healthy your entire life. You have the power of your mind to keep you in good health. So when I'm looking at in God's image, I'm looking at the power to create anything you ask for. Now, one of my favorite people that I do quote from in my book, Christianity, the Law of Attraction and the One Command, is a gentleman by the name of Prentice Mulford. Prentice Mulford wrote the book in 1889, originally published in 1889. And it's called Thoughts Are Things. Okay, so that's Prentice, Prentice, Mulford, Mulford. Thoughts Are Things. And I've also mentioned, and in the scriptures also, it talks about when two or more people get together, right, and prophesies in my name or pray or whatever, the power of the prayer, the power of the thought, the power of the intention is increased. So he's talking about, and we all know this, gossip is fascinating. There is an exhilaration in scandal and the raking over of our friends or neighbors or enemies' faults is almost equal to that produced by champagne. But in the end, we pay dearly for these pleasures. If but two people were to meet at regular intervals and talk of health, strength, and vigor of body and mind, at the same time opening their minds to receive of the Supreme the best idea as to the ways and means for securing these blessings, they would attract to them a thought current of such idea. If these two people or more kept up their conversations on these subjects at a regular time and place and found pleasure in such communings, they were not forced or stilted. If they could carry them on without controversy and enter into them without preconceived idea and not allowed any shade of tattle or tale-bearing or censure of others to drift into their talk, they would be astonished at the year's end at the beneficial results to mind and body. Because in doing so and coming together with a silent demand of the Supreme to get the best idea, they would attract to them a current of life-giving force. We have been given the power of thought. We have been given the power of creation. We have been given the power to come together and command, to ask, to create an energy so strong that it has been known to heal people. It has been known to create millions, where the thought was there was no thought there at all. That all of a sudden an idea popped into somebody's head and they went with it and it created millions for them. Creation in man's mind, creation given to us, the ability given to us to no other creature on this earth. It is the universal life and energy, and it finds an outlet in and all and through all of us and all of our lives. There is but one energy, and we are all interconnected. So if we all sat down, or during the day, we all committed to love one another, all of us, no matter what your thought process is, no matter what a person's beliefs are, no matter what their orientation is, no matter what they dress like or they look like, we just look at each other and say, when I see you, I see God. When I see you, I see universal intelligence. When I see you, I see a powerful manifester, because I know that each and every day, as you go about your day and you speak and you talk about how your day is, if you speak that your day is miserable, guess what? Your day is miserable. If you speak and say the intention of my day, no matter what, is to be happy and to smile at everyone that passes by, even if they frown back or even if they look at me like I'm crazy, which has happened, it doesn't matter. I am happy. My happiness is within me, inside me. No one outside of me, no one outside of me makes me happy. People have gone from one relationship to the next relationship to the next looking for happiness. They never thought, and they never took the time to sit down and say, what's the one common denominator in all of my relationships? And it's them. And when you think about you and making you the best person you can be, when you think about you and you thinking positive thoughts that you can do what you desire to do, you would not have the desire to be whatever it is that's deep inside you if you could not accomplish it. You would not say, I want to be whatever it is. But instead of saying I want to be, say I am. I am the power and presence of God. I am a powerful manifester. I am able to achieve whatever I set my mind to. I am. Every time you say I am, if you say I am lonely, you are lonely. I am lovable. I am worthy. I am blessed. I am a child of the living God. I am filled with the spirit of higher intelligence. I am filled with the mind of universal life. I am filled with power and the ability to be and to do and to live in the now, in the present. I am made in the image of God with power and presence and universal spirit and the ability to think, the ability to create, the ability to manifest my desires. I am able to ignore the naysayers. I am able to become the person I want to be. All around you, there are examples of people who have overcome, horrific circumstances. You've got people who have come out of the Holocaust and were wonderful. You've had people who were in war circumstances and were injured and who are athletes using prosthetics. You have people who have been beaten, who have been stabbed, who have been shot, who have been homeless, who have had mental illness and have survived and have become very great. And yes, they have a story to tell. And so therefore you have the ability to do the same thing, to be that person, to do the things and be whatever you want. I want to thank you for being with me today. I hope I know the words that I have spoken to you have hit somewhere in your life, in your heart. I want to thank you. I am offering a free 30-minute consultation. Just go to commandingyourlife.com and do the contact button and put consultation in the subject line, and we can set one up. It is free. We'll just talk a little bit about who you are and what you are and what's in your life. I want to take a moment now and slow things down again and just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and say, I command that I know how. I create the wonderful life that I am destined to create. I command that I am the person that I desire to be. I command that I am the power and presence of God, the Holy Spirit, universal life. However I choose to recognize the Spirit falling through me and around me. And it is so. So again, thank you for being with me, and stay tuned and for the next episode coming forward. And I'll look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you for listening today. I hope that what we shared with you today is a blessing to you. Don't forget, you can receive a free Silva Ultramide ESP System mini course valued at over $100 and start using the Silva Ultramide system today to help you make the rest of your life the best of your life. To get the free course, go to silverfox.silvacourses.com. That's silverfox.silva, S-I-L-V-A, courses.com. Click on the newsletter link on the left side of the page and follow the instructions. If you have any suggestions for the show, send them to me at Beverly at commandingyourlife.com. commandingyourlife.com. And don't forget, I have a free twice monthly Commanding Your Life telecircle on the first and third Thursdays. You get the opportunity to learn more, to ask questions, and to become engaged. So more information on the circle can be found at meetup, MEETUP, commandingyourlife.com. That's meetup.commandingyourlife.com, or go to commandingyourlife.com and look at events. Join me next week for another exciting and interesting topic or guest. Matthew 9:29 says, "As you have believed, let it be done to you." And it is so.